Well, I'm Ragnar Freyr. I'm a graphic designer and a web designer. I sometimes do illustration as well. I'm from Ólafsfjörður in the northern Iceland, but I used to live in Akureyri and now I live in Reykjavík. There's a like a story I like to say, but I don't know the validity of it. Well, when I was a kid, I used to hold these like bazaars, or it's called tombolas, where kids sell like stuff they find, and I really loved drawing like ads for these, like to post around the town. And my mother said I would be in advertising when I grew up. I guess that's kind of how I got into it. And in later years in school, I started doing ads for like events and stuff like that. And then it kind of became an obsession, and evolved from that. When I started in Akureyri to work, I didn't have a lot of clients, but I kind of knew that I wanted to be like sort of my own name. So I started doing posters for clubs and events, and that's kind of how it all started. But then I kind of knew that I've always kind of knew that I wanted to be my own boss in a way. I've never really fit in the corporate environment, so through my studies and through like I worked at agencies and bigger places, but through all this I've kind of always known that I want to be on my own. It's a lot more like rewarding once you get into it. It becomes like your baby. You are kind of, it stands and falls with you, with your actions, and you kind of have to nurture it. So this is a poster I made for an event called Above the Clouds. It was for the 15th anniversary. It was a radio show back in the day that played like drum and bass and breakbeat music. So I kind of wanted to have 15 in there somewhere. And their logo is actually a plane, which is from a clip art. They took their logo from like a clip art or like a webding font or something. And I used the plane to like build 1 in 15, which was, I think it was a nice like visual pun. I tried to go for like strong visual language instead of like trying to overcrowd the poster. I tried to like minimize the stuff that you need to see, and for example, like stuff that you don't really need, like this is about how much it costs to go to the event. No one really needs to know that, so I put it in small letters and I kind of underline the name. I'm not really a fan of sketching on paper. I've never been like really good at drawing, or I use it sometimes just to get the idea down, a really rough idea. But usually I form an image in my head, so to speak, that I try to imitate on the screen. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But it usually goes from me thinking about it for a while and like forming like a visual idea in my head, and then I just sit straight down to the computer and try to execute it. So that's kind of like a 2-step process. It has always kind of worked best for me. For example, in art school, we were always like asked to sketch things out on paper, and I never really did that, but they graded on that. So sometimes I had the idea, executed it, and then sketched afterwards just to get the grade. So. This is a book I recently published in collaboration with Reykjavík.is, which is a radio show, and they hold club nights, club events with breakbeat and drum and bass music. And I've been doing posters for them since probably 2004 or 2003. And we decided to publish all the posters in the book. Along with our project, we've been having this kind of a challenge project where I started in 2004 and challenged a graphic designer to make a poster. And he challenged another graphic designer, and then it went on and on after that. And we have, I think, around 60 posters from various Icelandic graphic designers and artists and illustrators. And in the back we have posters from other designers who have made work in my absence or before I came along. And in the front we have the history of Reykjavík.is with pictures from the events and clubs. And we crowdfunded this book, the printing of it, and it's out now and you can buy it online. Please do. If there's one project, I think it would have to be the old school poster I did for Breakbeat.is. I did it in 2005, summer 2005 something. And it was kind of they had this rewind to old school music, the old school raving music, and I did like a smiling poster with just a yellow and one smile, and we plastered it around town, and the like graffiti artists and just the public started drawing faces on it, and that was kind of a nice feedback for the work. And I kind of when I got the call and they said, "Hey, somebody's been drawing on your posters," I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome!" And I went downtown and took a picture of each and every one of them. So much fun to get kind of a response to your work, because most of the time you do like a poster, and yes, it advertises the event, and maybe people come and maybe they don't. But this was kind of like a direct response, which was really nice. And I'd say there's definitely a close community of designers in Iceland. We kind of know each other, and it's kind of, you always know who did what. You know, if you see something new, you kind of this guy must have done it. You start to know the language, the visual language of each and every one. It's fun, but it's also kind of dun 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 dun. It kind of gets that way sometimes.
What's the best way for people to find you?
It's online. It's at the www.ragnarfreyr.com, which probably no one understands the Ragnar Freyr part, but yeah, graphic design Iceland. You can search for that on Google. I think I'm on top. SEO.